Before this year began, I had not seen a single film by Wes Anderson. I knew he was highly acclaimed in the film circles, but I'd never checked out any of his movies. That all changed this year. Over the past few months, and specifically just these past couple weeks, I have completed every single Wes Anderson feature film. Today, I'm going to rank all of them because this guy has grown to have a very special place in my heart, probably becoming my favorite director working right now. So, today I'm going to rank all his movies. I think it should be super fun. I'm very passionate about most of these movies. There's only a couple that I'm not excited to talk about. So I hope you guys enjoy. Let me know your rankings down below, or just whichever ones you've seen, your thoughts on Wes Anderson, and let's get into this. So Wes Anderson is a filmmaker that got his start in the mid-1990s and has been making films consistently ever since then. He has 10 movies and has become widely loved in film circles for his eccentric visual style, his symmetry, his great characters, and overall he just brings an energy and a wit that many directors working today do not have. So I have seen all his movies, and we are going to kick off this ranking with number 10, which is Isle of Dogs for me. Now, I heard a lot about this movie when it was coming out. I saw a lot of promotion, I saw a lot of marketing, and I finally checked it out just this past week, and it's not bad by any means. I still think there's a lot to really like in this movie. It is absolutely gorgeous visually. The cinematography is some of Wes Anderson's absolute best, but to me, it kind of just feels like the one that couldn't hold my attention. It feels like a ton of beautiful shots just slapped together with no real connectivity or meaning behind them. I don't think the characters are particularly interesting, and I just don't think it flowed the way a lot of his other movies do. However, there's still great voice acting, great set design, and again, beautiful animation and cinematography. Number 9 for me is going to be Bottle Rocket. Now, this was the first film Wes Anderson ever directed, and you can definitely tell that it's a first feature. It feels like it. It doesn't have the crisp production behind it, or many of the extreme technical aspects that we come to expect from Wes Anderson, but it's still a super enjoyable film. It kind of gives a feeling of like if Quentin Tarantino directed a comedy. It's a heist movie. Owen and Luke Wilson are fantastic. It's pretty impressive that they were Wes's go-tos from the very beginning. James Caan is also in this movie. He's terrific. Love James Caan. And it's just kind of a wholesome movie to throw on and watch. He didn't have a lot of the solidified Wes Anderson style that you see in his later movies, but you can see the beginnings of it. And that's what I think is so cool about this movie. So, although it's at number 9, I still like it a lot. I'd still rewatch it. It's a good movie. Rushmore comes in at number 8, and this might be a more controversial placing. I know a lot of people absolutely love this movie, Rushmore. And I think it's really great. From here on up, every movie I give 4 out of 5 stars or higher. Rushmore is, it feels just kind of weirdly perfect. Like, everything works in this movie. There's nothing that Wes meant to do in this film that just doesn't pan out. I just think you can still tell it's the early beginnings of his career, and although performances are terrific, some of it comes across as just a bit weird and not particularly my taste. But again, this is a charming movie. It is so well paced. The characters are endearing. Bill Murray is excellent. Jason Schwartzman, in his first time working with Wes, is awesome. And it's just a really fun time. Fantastic soundtrack as well. It comes in at number 8. Coming in at number 7, The French Dispatch. This is his newest film. It just came out this year. I was lucky enough to see it in theaters. Thank you, Mom. And it's awesome. Like, it's really, really cool. It's really fun. And he got to work with every single one of his friends. Like, he created a great world, all the performances are great. There are so many famous people in this movie. It is ridiculous. The reason I think I have this lower on the list is because it doesn't display the same amount of heart and substance that I think some of the ones that I have higher up do. But in terms of just the style and the technical ability on display, it is unbelievable. It is a feast for the eyes. It was so much fun to watch in the theaters, and I enjoyed it immensely. It comes in at number 7. At number 6 is going to be The Life Aquatic with Steve Zissou. A lot of people don't love this movie. It is one of Wes's more underappreciated, I'd say. The ratings aren't as high, and I feel like just in general, in film circles, it doesn't get as much love as it maybe deserves, because I love this movie. It is a bit too long, but it feels maybe the most personal to Wes out of all the movies he's made, and I love the world. It feels almost satirical, and I really like that about it. Bill Murray is excellent, probably one of his best performances. Willem Dafoe is also great in this. Owen Wilson does a fun job. He's Owen Wilson. You're always going to get a fun performance out of him. But I really did like how personal this felt, while still including great soundtrack, great visual comedy, and just all of the Wes Anderson isms that you like to see, as this was him transitioning into the way more eccentric Wes Anderson of the second half of his career so far. So I really love The Life Aquatic. At number 5 is going to be The Darjeeling Limited. Another one that might be a bit of an unpopular placement. I know many people also do not have this one as high up. I've seen complaints that it feels bland compared to a lot of the other Wes Anderson films, and I understand that, but I also think this one has some of the most heart out of any of his movies. It's a great concept, it's a great story, it's 3 great performances from Adrian Brody, Owen Wilson, and Jason Schwartzman. Their chemistry is off the charts, and I just really found this one great. I think the runtime works perfectly for it. It's only an hour and a half, and I think all the visual style is there and in full force, and I think it's just a really enjoyable watch. I totally love this movie. And number 4 is The Royal Tenenbaums. This is probably still maybe like the Wes Anderson, if you want to make an argument for it. I think it was the first of his movies where he totally came into his own as a director. He totally created his own sense of style, his own sense of wit, his own sense of timing within his comedy, and his writing in this movie. It's really off the charts. It's really incredible. It's a fantastic cast of characters. Gene Hackman's in here. He is awesome. The Wilson brothers. Gwyneth Paltrow is great. I loved her character. It's also one of the darker stories Wes has ever done. It deals with the fear of losing someone. It deals with depression and lost love. It's just a really deep and excellent film. The style is all there. The comedy is all there. But it does have maybe the most heart out of any of his movies, and I love that about it. Royal Tenenbaums, number 4. And number 3, I have Moonrise Kingdom. This one may be a little bit too high for some of you watching. I know not everyone loves this movie, but I love this movie, man. It feels so nostalgic. It feels so wholesome, and it's just great. It reminds me of a Taika Waititi film, sort of similar to Hunt for the Wilder People, which is a movie I love. And I think there's just something that feels so incredibly sincere about this movie. It is maybe the least visually eccentric of his films. The symmetry is all there, but it's not as vibrant. It doesn't have all of the amazing colors that we see in many of his movies. But there is just something that I can't really even put my finger on that makes me love this movie. I think the performances are great. I think the heart is there. And I think it's just such an enjoyable watch. It's short enough to where it gets that punch in and then leave you to think about it. And I just think it's awesome. I think it's so wholesome. Please go check it out if you haven't already. I think it's on HBO Max. Love this movie, Moonrise Kingdom, number 3. At number 2 is Wes's magnum opus, I would have to say, The Grand Budapest Hotel. This is his most acclaimed film. It's his most commercially successful film. A lot of people saw this movie. Everybody loved this movie. It got acclaim at the Academy Awards, and it's just awesome. It is the best blend Wes Anderson has ever done. The style and the substance mix in perfect harmony in this film. It's got a great cast of characters with some newer faces. Saoirse Ronan popping up is awesome. Ralph Fiennes is terrific. They bring Ed Norton back, Tilda Swinton back from Moonrise Kingdom, and it is just beautiful. It's beautiful to look at. It's beautiful to watch, and you just get devoured into that world. I could spend days hanging out in that world, which is something I can't say about a lot of movies. I think the story is so interesting, so intriguing, and again, it's just so beautiful. The vibrancy of the colors pop off the charts. You have an excellent time while looking at this entire movie, and there's never a dull moment. I do believe, it's probably his best. So many people love it, and I totally understand why, because I love it as well, and I can't wait to rewatch it. It's not number one, though, because that would be Fantastic Mr. Fox. It's just a perfect movie to me. I love everything about it. I love the characters. I love the score. I love the cinematography. I love the message. There's so much heart. It's a movie about family. Wes is one of the absolute best when writing about family, and everything comes together so perfectly. It also matches my sense of humor perfectly. I'm sure it won't for some of you, and that's okay, but I adore this movie. I'm going to rewatch it for years to come. Can't wait to show it to friends, more family. It's just awesome. I'm so glad I watched it. Fantastic Mr. Fox is perfect, and I absolutely adore it. It's so funny, makes me laugh so many times, and I'm sure it will on repeat viewings. I think it's probably the most rewatchable of his films. It's less than an hour and a half actually. It uses every minute of that runtime to make you feel amazing after the credits roll. George Clooney is great on voice, and just everything about it worked for me. So it is my favorite Wes Anderson movie to date. Can't wait to see what this guy does next. He, again, is probably my favorite director now at this point. And I'm so in love with his style. Seems like he's a great guy. And thank you guys so much for watching my ranking of all his movies. It was super fun for me to do. Again, I'm passionate about so many of these films. And it was great to watch them, great to talk about them. If you did enjoy, leave a like, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.